effect. That was.
No more room in hell. The dead will walk here.
What's up, everyone? Rick, as you can see, is not here tonight. Rick, get better. He normally would say, let's all cheer for 3 bottles of beer. I got water.
I ain't got anything.
You ain't got nothing? No coffee?
No, I'm cutting it back to coffee. 1 cup a day.
Oh boy, there's a lot of changes going on.
Oh,
Well, as you can see, at least, the man, the myth, the legend is here. My brother JR. So what's good?
I don't know. We're going to do a international film. We've been doing a couple international films lately. I think back-to-back weeks already. And this one is another Netflix movie, but has no association with Troll Hunter. Is that good or bad?
And it might be a good thing. It might be a good thing. As JR said, we are doing the Netflix movie Troll. It's directed by Roar Thaug. There's a lot of other actresses and actors whose name I am not going to butcher. I don't want to, I'm not doing it. For me, though, this movie was actually a pleasant surprise. Like
Yes.
you mentioned Troll Hunter. That movie, when you have a movie that's almost similar to another one and that movie's good, you got to do better than the one that you already find to be good. And I actually wasn't thinking about Troll Hunters 30 minutes into it. It wasn't even in my mind.
No, that's good, though. That's good. Definitely pleasant surprise on this one.
So, I mean, what did you think of the movie?
I kind of liked it. I tend to shy away from anything that's TV 14 and below because I feel like it just takes away so much from the movie. But I really did enjoy this film. We're both fans of folklore. It was good to see another movie with folklore. And what I like about this film too is they could have made this troll look a lot different, but the fact that they stood within the realm of their folklore and what trolls actually look like, it did the movie well. And there's a mixture of action, there's a mixture of comedy in this, which I like the comedy in this. I don't know the name of the actors, but I'll just say Nora, which is the main character, was very good.
Yeah,
I liked her a lot. She reminded me of somebody. I couldn't figure who.
She was reminding me of the just not as built as her, but for some reason I was thinking of the super deep one that we did.
Yes. Oh my God, what's her name? I follow her on Instagram. Sorry.
When we were watching it, like I thought a little bit of her.
She was good. Christopher, which was the army guy, kind of reminded me a little bit of what's his name? Star-Lord for some reason. I don't know why. And then Andreas, who was basically assistant to the prime minister, was a very good, goofy character. He kind of basically neutralized the other two because Nora was, she was at the star of the film. She was a favorite. Christopher, you typical, military guy. And then you have Andreas, who's your comedian, he's more interested in writing a book than anything, which he constantly explains throughout the movie, whoever listens to him. But yeah, I thought the cast and, the mixture, the chemistry was actually pretty good. And yeah, come on, who doesn't like the troll though?
I know. I like you said, the troll, when they showed it, when it came up from the ground, I thought it was cool. I figured it was coming, especially when I think they were looking at the photo.
Yeah.
And they were trying to say that something's there now that wasn't there before, and then it opened the eye. I thought it was cool. Yeah, it's a little Jurassic Park. However, it was still pretty cool. I, love the look of the troll.
Yeah.
Even the tail, like everything, the, head to toe. Really, it liked it. As you said, I could not find one annoying character in this movie.
No.
So, this is the kind of movie that if you have that one character that is going to annoy you, it would basically fuck up your whole entire movie. And there was nothing in here that I can complain at all about the cast. The other part is, because we're talking about the troll, is that the freaking CGI in the movie I thought was really good.
Yes.
I know we're used to this. I'm not talking about trying to compare this to, Marvel and those type of movies. We're talking about, lower budget movies. The CGI was fucking awesome in this one. What'd you think?
No, CGI was good. Now the director, I don't know if you know, he did the latest Tomb Raider,
Oh, I
and
didn't know that.
yeah, he did the latest Tomb Raider. He's well known for another horror movie called Cold Prey, which I haven't seen yet, which I'm interested in watching now. And then he did a disaster film called The Wave, which is
I
another
love the
Norwegian
way.
film. Yeah, he did that was his film. So he
That's
directed.
his.
That's his.
Oh, the wave is fucking. And I told Adam, so it turns out there's 3 parts to that.
Yeah, the Quake, I think, is the second one.
Yeah, so I'm gonna check that one out. But I didn't know that. Well, that explains the special effects then,
Yes.
because like the scene where the foot went over the car.
Everything of this.
It was like it could it looked real. I mean, it legit was an awesome shot. There was so many amazing shots that were in here like that. It helped the movie, obviously. Yes. But like, yeah, like I said, like overall, the cast, you got great CGI.
Yeah.
So it's 2 great elements already so far for the movie.
No,
And
even the scene behind me where they were looking for him, he's sleeping the whole time. I mean, that was an awesome scene. The fact that the father was like knew he was there the whole time, since he was there, which I'll talk about the father later. But yeah, I mean, the CGI was really good in this one.
All right, so I know we're talking a little bit fast on the movie. Skip a little parts here for you. So if you guys have not seen this movie, Nora is shown how to see trolls in the beginning of the movie by her father. I'm sure JR is going to say some of those things, talk about him on that part. And so when he talks about him, these miners end up blowing up a cave that ends up awakening a troll. The troll then starts making his way to Oslo. There's a good reason why. As he's on his way there, he comes across the poor little the 2 people at their home.
Yeah.
That was a great scene, though.
Very good scene.
That was a great scene. So, like, this troll is on his way back to Oslo. They're trying to stop him. And, along the way, you're realizing that you're watching a creature feature here. And usually the creature features are the bad guy. Mm-hmm. And you're now, like, on the other side going like, hey, you're rooting for the troll. Like, did you find yourself in this movie, like, basically on the side of the troll?
Oh, definitely. Like, Tobias, which the one knock I have on this movie, he was underutilized. I feel they could have had a lot more with Tobias because he was such a good character for his short stint in the film. Because in the beginning, he's sitting there with his daughter explaining to her about the mountain in front of him, how there's trolls basically. You can see them if you want. You have to use your imagination. You have to open up your eyes. But he had one great, basically when they bring him in, I like this line he said. He tells Nora, says, imagine waking up, you don't recognize the new world you're in. And that was a great line because right then and there it showed you that there was more about this troll, not just some mindless creature wandering around causing havoc. Because even when you said earlier, the scene with the old couple in the house, even the woman describes it as, oh, there was a howling. And you fell for it. It was the saddest thing I've ever heard. So throughout the film, you get these moments where you feel for this creature. There was another scene where they're trying to destroy it, and here's Tobias once again, who gets in front of it and starts talking to it, and you felt the connection between Tobias and the troll.
Yeah,
fortunately, they killed off Tobias because they attacked the troll and he freaking smacked him with the tail, but
he didn't mean to.
No, he didn't mean to.
He didn't mean to.
No, there was, and that's why I think I made this movie even better. The fact that it wasn't just a mindless creature. There was a purpose. There was a reason. And he's just not going to Oslo just to go to Oslo to visit. I mean, there's a lot of reasoning behind this, and there's little subplots because you have the troll coming out. Joel talk about what he was looking for. You had Tobias, who knew everything about these trolls, was basically silenced and called insane. And
they locked him away.
They locked him away. And then you have a government who basically, just like anything else with humans, we fear what we don't understand. So our only basically reaction to it is to destroy whatever it is. Yep. Which, what do you think?
Same. I mean, so the moans are heard right from the beginning. like when Nora played it back, it was and like it wasn't moans of like roar, it like pain from the minute it woke up. It was in pain and not physical pain. You know, like you said, it woke up, looked around, didn't know where he was at, and well, if you know, you try to remember where you look around, you don't know where you're at. Where you go home.
Yeah.
And he was making his way back home. And in Oslo, what was it? Was the kingdom.
Yeah.
Was built. We should have wrote this down. I guess the palace. There's a
Okay, one of them.
palace. Yeah, it's somebody's palace that was built over it. Is where the Troll King and his family had lived, and you know he's making his way there. Well, shit. If I was that big and I'm trying to make my way home and people are shooting at me, you know, sending missiles at me,
Yeah.
I'm going to fight back. I mean, of course, nobody really stopped to ask him what he was doing. As you said, they just feared it. Here comes this monster, you know. So the more it fought, it was, you know, it had like similar sympathies like you saw like with King Kong.
Yeah.
You know, like it was. It's hard to say it was an animal, it's a troll, but you know, it had a heart, it had a soul, you know, it had feelings, it was trying to get home. So I was hoping he made it home. Like I wanted him to make it home, fuck shit up. Granted, though, when he would have gotten home, then he really would have fucked shit up anyway, because you know, he would have found out what happened to his family. You know, the government had kept a secret that they basically butchered the whole entire family, and he was the last one left. You know, and so yeah, I like, for me it was like in my head I'm like, man, I'm really hoping that like at the end of the movie they just let him go back so he can just lay down against a mountain, you know. And well, if you didn't see the movie, don't keep listening. Because you know, as we get to the closing here, I mean, you know, we got the end of the movie which featured another Nora and what was the name of the Andreas in the car, which at first we laughed and then we actually started feeling bad because we realized that they were having him follow the skull of one of his, we don't know, it could have been his kid, basically one of his family members.
Yeah.
Then we were like, oh, that's kind of mean and horrible. And then when it fell off and it broke, like you're like, ah.
Yeah.
But that whole, just, you know, getting to the special effects, that whole sequence with him chasing Nora, that was another favorite.
Really good.
Oh yeah, I love that. I mean, you know, and you could take us to the closing of the movie and you know what happens here.
So Nora came out with this plan to basically, I mean, if you know anything about troll folklore, one of their biggest weaknesses is the sun. I mean, you watched in Troll Hunter, you watched in The Hobbit. I mean, their weakness is the sun. So they figured, let's basically mimic the sun with all this luminescent lighting. So after, you know, he's pissed off because the skull drops. So now he's really wanting to go after Nora.
Oh, yeah.
So she leads him to this open field where they have all these lights set up. And they turn on the lights when he comes, and then he's dying. But then she sees everything her father was saying. Basically, he's the last one. He's on the mining list. He wants to go home. So here you have even more sympathy for the creature. So you're kind of just ruining it. Like, all right, just don't kill it. So she ends up pulling the plug on the lights. And unfortunately, the sun comes up, which was, I mean, I'm kind of glad that he died that way over them killing him, but the fact that he still died regardless.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, it didn't kill the movie for me.
No.
That happening. And it actually, because it wasn't until like nighttime that I realized that when he was walking around, I'm like, but he was walking around during the day. It was cloudy all day.
Yeah.
The sun wasn't out. Because I'm like, well, maybe this troll is different. It's not. And it wasn't until like later on I remembered, I'm like, it was cloudy the whole entire day while he was walking. So that's the way the sun had infected him. Yeah, I like I said, for me, my perfect ending would have been they would have just somehow, you know, when she told him to go home, that he would have just walked away, you know, and just you would have seen him just lay up against a mountain, and a year later she goes to visit. Now it's going to be they're visiting. A what do they call it? The Tobias? No, yeah, the Tobias.
Tobias Mountain, something like that.
Tobias
Tobias
Mountain.
Hill or Tobias Hill.
Tobias Hill. So, yeah, I mean, I again, I like the ending, but they left it because as he was asking, they keep asking you his name, the damn assistant, Andreas, about maybe there's more out there, and that's when you saw like Nora of the big smile, and I actually sat there. I'm like, I'm curious about something, so I just hit the slow fast forward, and then sure enough, there's a post credit scene. So obviously there is going to be another sequel. What do you feel like? Do you think this movie would be good with another sequel, or do you think they should just kind of leave this one be?
See, I'm curious because this one I feel like it still has a lot of story to tell. I mean, you still got the old guy who basically spearheaded the hunting of all these trolls. So he's still alive. There's definitely a backstory with him.
That's a good point.
You have Nora, who basically knows everything now, too.
Yeah.
And he told her, too, as well. The question is going to be is it one or is it possibly more than one that are still in the Dover Mountain? So, I mean, you only heard one.
You only heard one, but
could there be more? So I'm not big into sequels sometimes, but this one, I feel like it still has a lot of story to tell. And it still has great folklore. So why not give it one more film and see what they do with it?
Actually, you reminded me of the old guy. I can see where a good sequel would tie into, because the old guy tying into actually, because I was curious, because I'm like, for me, I wouldn't want to see a sequel to Troll Hunter. I think that like you would ruin a really good movie,
right?
And while this isn't not Troll Hunter, this is pretty close second to it.
Oh, definitely.
But so this is another thing. This is not our typical horror that we review. And I think we've done this every once in a while.
Yeah.
But we do a subcategory here. So, because if we were to review it compared to other horror movies, obviously we'd go, we shouldn't do that to it because it's not a slasher movie. So, I mean, this is creature feature folklore. So if we were to put it there, what would your rating be for the movie?
See, I how to put it. This is one of the movies I enjoyed regardless. I went in. The only trailer I watched was whatever was on Netflix. I didn't really look too much into the film, but I mean, I would give it a 4. I wanted to go higher with it, but I do feel like the Tobias character was underutilized. They could have had a little bit more with him, a little bit more backstory. Just how does he know about all these trolls? Like, what exactly did he do? So there was so much with him that I feel like, I mean, sometimes, the last movie we did with Rick, we talk about the vagueness, how sometimes the vagueness in films works. But this one, I feel like the Tobias character should have been a little bit more. Exactly what did he know? What was his interaction with the old guy, who basically was let's call him a troll hunter. Why not? So I feel like if they would have pushed that a little bit more, given him a little bit more backstory, I would have I would have gave it a 4.5, maybe even 5. But not. I mean, regardless, this is a good film to enjoy. I mean, it's definitely a hidden gem. It's a sleeper film, and for what it gives us is a creature that we don't see in too many movies at all, unless it's fantasy. And I like what they're doing. I like the fact that they're going back into the folklore of the trolls. And yeah, I want to see more. I want to see more trolls.
All right. Well, I'm gonna give it a 4.5 because same as you. I only saw the preview, and I mean, I'm not gonna look through my phone right now, but I don't think I even texted. I think I told you guys we're gonna get ready to watch this movie, and I don't think I picked up my phone until the movie was done. And it's very rare movies that can do that for me nowadays. At least in the comfort of your own home. So I, from beginning to end, enjoyed this movie. I found no flaws in it, except for the stuff you're bringing up, all valid. All stuff that could be put in, Troll 2.
Yeah.
They got Troll 2 is gonna sound like somebody was confusing it when I said we're doing Troll. They're like the little green guy. I'm like, that's Leprechaun. With that, hope you guys enjoyed it. Definitely check out Troll if you have not. I mean, I highly recommend it. It's something you can even watch with the kids, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Your kids will probably enjoy this too. Give them a little your horror if you haven't given your children horror movies just yet. But that does it for us tonight. So, JR, make sure you hit that subscribe button, hit the follow. Rick, get well, because, I only do the solos by myself. And, I had to do your job. So, with that, guys, have a good night and stay scared.